Hello, everyone. This is Jennifer, and I am going to be discussing DACA and the Dreamers. Now, I have been seeing so many protests and many articles and news coverage about how we need to save the Dreamers. How are they going to go to college? What are they going to do? And I have to say, I understand that people have compassion for the Dreamers. They're in a tough situation. But considering there are so many Americans that are unable to live the American dream, so many Americans that do not have the funds to do what they need to do to ensure their future, but everyone's worried about the dreamers. And this really confuses me. And I have to call these people who lose overwhelming support of DACA and the dreamers, I have to call you hypocrites. Because if you genuinely cared about people that were being oppressed, if you wanted to save lives, you would be protesting for people from Syria, from the Congo, from Burma. Okay, these are people that are fleeing from countries that are actually oppressing them. Okay, we're talking death, mutilation, rape, and this is a constant fear for them. And still, we only let a fraction of them in. Okay, we tell them we're a nation of laws. We have a process. We cannot let everybody in, unfortunately. But this isn't how it works for the dreamers, right? They get to just stay here because of their parents. And not only to live here, but to reap all the benefits that Americans have. And not only that, now they are entitled to everything and they demand everything. And frankly, they are just so ungrateful for everything that they have received. And America needs to put its foot down for once and for all, because we have been way too giving in helping other countries and other people and not neglecting the citizens within the United States. And I know people are going to say, we can't break up families. You know, how cruel can you be? But first of all, to blame America for their problems, for the problems of their parents. Like, we don't need to break up families, not at all. If a family came here together illegally, we can send them back together. So there you go, not breaking up families. But to blame America for their problems, what you need to do is blame your parents. And you need to blame your shitty country, Mexico. Okay, the country where it's one of the richest in the world, yet over 50% of its population is living in poverty. I mean, a country that is so corrupt that people are literally risking their lives to leave it. And yet we have the Mexican president that insults us and disrespects us. He wants to know why we don't want them. Why are we having a wall there? Like, why are we so racist, right? This hypocrite. And ironically, Mexico has their own southern border problems. They don't want Central Americans coming to their country. In fact, Mexico has a slew of requirements that you must meet prior to entering their country. You have to speak the language. You have to prove that you can support yourself and your family. You have to be a reputable member of society, and you can't have any sort of mental illness. And these are their requirements. Not to mention, if you enter their country illegally, you have a heavy price to pay. On a second time that you try to enter illegally, you go to jail for 10 years. This is a felony. They don't mess around. You have no rights as an American citizen. You have no due process. They give you nothing. Okay? And this is how they treat their illegal immigrants. But they want us to know, why can't Americans be friendly? Why are we not neighborly? Right? These hypocrites. And I know that everyone thinks that these 800,000 DACA recipients are either 7 and 8-year-olds or they're these college students just trying to, become doctors. And while some of them are there are some that are not so good, okay? We have crime, a lot of crime that nobody wants to talk about. This is why we have Kate's Law. Now, Kate was a woman this man, an illegal immigrant, comes to the United States, gets deported several times for committing felonies, and on his 5th time, he kills an American citizen. Okay, this is not something that's an outlier. This happens. Okay, I'm not saying it applies to every DACA recipient, but it's definitely a problem. And if we look at our criminal justice system, we have 25% of our prisons are filled with illegal immigrants. We're talking $3 million a day. And this is unacceptable because people don't want to admit it, but there is crime and we need to deal with it. We need to focus on it and weigh our options, at least be allowed to. And the next argument, which I always see, is we pay taxes. We support the government. See, no, this is just not true. Okay, I know that people, okay, and there are some that pay taxes and contribute, and that's true. However, considering the amount that they suck from our economy, it really just doesn't compare, and honestly should not be brought up at all. And we all know that if you make under a certain amount, the government will give you that money back at the end of the year. Not only that, if you're in a certain bracket, or if you have certain children, a certain amount, etc., you get a credit. So you get a check from the government. So no one's benefiting from them paying taxes except for themselves. And as far as helping our economy, again, not really, because we're pretending like they go out and buy houses and cars and go to the mall. And while some of them do, a lot of their money is sent to Mexico as a remittance. Last year, I think 2.5 billion was sent to Mexico from the United States. So Mexico is thriving, not the United States. And no, they are not helping our economy grow. They're helping their economy grow. And just to let you know, just to make it clear, I'm not talking about illegal immigrants, because everybody likes to group them together, illegal and legal. And they do this so they can manipulate people and make their cause seem better. But there's a distinct difference, and I specifically speak of illegal immigrants. So everyone who's supporting the Dreamers, I just want you to think about some things, okay? Our schools, where programs are being cut. A lot of schools don't even have the arts anymore. No music, no theater, no art programs. No, because we don't have money for it. We don't have the resources. We have a national debt that's just growing and growing. We have our prisons that are overcrowded in almost every state. We're releasing them because there's no room, and we have no more money to spend on our prisons, right? We have our cities all across the United States that need help, that need to be restructured, that need assistance, that need money, and we are neglecting them. Nobody is fighting for them. Why not? Why are we neglecting our own country when everybody wants to care about other people first? We have 10 cities because our children, 25% of them are homeless. 25% of our homeless population is children, okay? So if you want to care about children, you should care about the children that live here, because they need a lot of help too. So instead of blaming everything on racism, because that's anyone who plays a race card, it's because there's no real argument. And playing the race card is really effective. But Americans need to wake up, okay? You can only blame Trump so long. You could blame everybody who's a Nazi and call them a white supremacist, and it's all manipulation. Because if we weren't a welfare state, they wouldn't want to come here, okay? If we didn't offer them free services and government assistance, there's no need for them to come here. So it has to do all with the fact that we don't want to pay for you, okay? It's not with racism, okay? It's just they don't want to pay your way. And you shouldn't want that either. You know, who wants to mooch off of people and then pretend like they deserve it? It's absolutely disgusting. So, you know what? Let's help Americans first. Okay, if we have an excess, then yeah, let's help everybody else. But in the meantime, we have our things, we have our problems too, and we need to take care of them. Because I don't care what anybody says, America is always first.